what does macros have to do with it? The key to a lean and sculpted physique. So I haven't done a macros live for a very, very, very long time, actually, just because I go in seasons. I feel like some seasons I'm talking a lot about macros, some season I talk a lot about belly fat. And then here I'm kind of coming back to like sculpted physiques. I'm kind of on that train right now, sculpted physiques. So how many of you, just out of a show of hands, really understand your macros? Like you feel like you have like good macro understanding, or you don't have good macro understanding? Or some of you might be like, I have no idea what you're talking about when you say macros. So how many of you say you have really good understanding of macros? Put it below. Who says you have medium understanding of macros, and who thinks they have no idea what macros are? Put it below. Hi, Simone, good to see you. And Charlotte and Louisa. Okay, so if you're new here while people are responding in, welcome to the Fierce Women community where we sculpt powerful bodies and champion mindsets. And so I mentioned this in my topic, post yesterday, that Susie says, I understand my macros. Good. Tammy says a little bit. Jennifer says good macro understanding. Rebecca says no idea. And Claire says medium. So we can see we have a wide range of people here. And it's expected. I have some people who literally say, I don't even know what you mean when you say macros. So it's kind of why I ask. And then we have some that are competitors, or you've been doing macros a long time. And so you're like, I understand it. I just want to tweak my knowledge in it, right? So there's going to be some for everybody here. To be honest, I still go into some basics of macros at the beginning, and then I go through sort of like why you want to know how to adjust your macros. And then I go into specific things you have to be paying attention a little bit more as a woman and as you age as well. So it's kind of cover all the gamut. So whether you have no understanding of macros or you have a lot, you'll still gain a little bit out of today. So I see none. Charlotte says I have none. Awesome. We will help you with that. So let's start with some wins. So first of all, I want to say thank you for everyone's interest in the 21-day anti-inflammation system. It was an awesome launch because we launched that as a new course, which was something I worked on for a long time. And I'm so excited for the 16 women who have chosen themselves. And I'm going to name off their names, but just right now in the private group, they are posting about all the things they struggle with inflammation, and never realize how much inflammation affects their body, or the diseases or the things they felt they never could connect it to inflammation. So it's actually really cool to see how much, even just the start of the course, they've learned. And so these 16 women, I want you to give them lots of hearts. The 16 who are doing the 21-day program is Lynn Holwell, Tracy Leung, Cindy Hutchinson, Elizabeth Chapman, Sandy Young, Kathy Machalico, Lisa Bailey Wilson, Amber Tucker, Lisa White, Angela Thody, Leanne May, Wanda Roy, Sherry Shaw, Alicia Peters, and Carolyn Bowden. So super, super pumped for all of you. And just, I know you're going to learn so much. And if you are on module 3, let me tell you, if you're on module 3 right now, you're probably going to be like, OMG, like, I know yesterday, some of you already said, I did not know some of this stuff. And so if you are in the 21-day program and you are starting to learn some things or have some revelations, drop a heart below, to kind of let us know that you're really gaining some things from this 21-day program. We are going to, it's always going to go 21 days, and we are going to start to probably uptake for another round, probably in August. So if you don't want to miss that next 21-day program launch, then you want to drop 21 below to learn more about inflammation markers. I am going to talk about inflammation markers today a little bit too, but yeah, if you don't want to miss that next one, drop 21 below, okay? We are also on week 7, going to week 8 of the FFF group coaching program. And so we're really excited for these ladies. We're giving them a few more weeks, so we're going to help them a little bit and really give them that extra boost. But we are in the process of uptaking. We're going to start the process of uptaking for the FFF group coaching program. So if you don't know what the FFF group coaching program, that one is more specific to macros. Okay, so Inflammation, you have to first address. I say it's the first level problem you must address. If you want to bring down bloating, digestive issues, and balance your hormones a bit better, inflammation has to be addressed. But as you will learn today, if you don't know your macros, macros is going to be where the key is in continuing to reduce fat in your body and build muscle. So if you want to understand your macros to a greater level, this is where FFF group coaching program comes into play. So if you want to learn more about FFF group coaching, put FFF below, as well as we are going to start to uptake for that. Hi, Beate. I see lots of 21, 22, Wanda. Wanda's ready for the next version. Wanda, I haven't developed version 22 yet. So, but 21 will be great. And we see all the people putting 21 in. So we will note you down for sure. So, all right. Let's start first with like baseline macros. Okay. So let's start with basics. And for some of you, this is basic, but you have to remember some people do not know it. So I'm going to start there. So your macros are your big building blocks of your body. And it is what your body needs to survive. If you don't have these elements in your body, it's really hard for your body to be healthy and whole. Okay. So you have protein, carbs, and fat. So we're going to start first to talk about protein. I want you to think of protein as, I always say, the bricks of your house, right? They are the building blocks, the structural blocks of your body. So they're important for building, like, the cellular structure of your body, the muscles, the tissues, the connective tissues, like all the building blocks of your body. And protein is specifically made up of amino acids, okay? And how these amino acids are arranged produces the specific type of protein in your body, like collagen. All of you in your menopausal years are talking about collagen and what it does for your body and your skin. That's a type of protein, right? Keratin, that is needed for healthy hair, is a type of protein, right? Myosin, actin, which is in your muscles, those are all types of proteins, right? So these structural elements of your body, they're different based on just how the amino acids are arranged together. There are 20 amino acids out there that our body needs, and there's 9 that our body cannot produce on our own. That's why they're called essential amino acids, and you have to get those from your food. Okay, so I'm just going to name off 6 roles of why protein is really, really important. Susie says, please send me a live via messenger. Okay, afterwards, we always work on replays. So not to worry. If you put replay, we will be helping to send it to you. So there are 6 key roles to protein. So there's a structural role. So in terms of, like I said, the building blocks of tissues and organs and all of that. They also have a enzymatic role. So that's number 2. So the enzymes in your body are actually protein. So you have to remember, you have to have enough proteins and the right amount of protein to have good enzyme production in your body. And a lot of the enzymes, not just in your gut, but are in your gut. So having good enzymes is really important. Proteins also have a transport role. So they help transport things like oxygen and nutrients and hormones. So again, you need lots of those types of proteins. They have an immune role. So a lot of the proteins, like your white cells and your T cells, and those things help fight off infections in your body. And it has a hormone role. So some proteins act as hormones. So they're chemical messengers. So yes, we're on top of fat. Fat is a huge component of hormones, but you need protein in there as well. And then lastly, I told you that proteins are also contractile proteins that are in your muscles. So because they play such an important role, obviously they're needed in your body at a pretty sufficient level. And I think most people know that. And just a quick note of, what proteins and all of that. Well, anything like meats or seafood or tofu, even nuts and seeds and some legumes have protein in it. Although I will say not all Thanks for the hearts. Awesome. I see lots of hearts. Not all plant proteins are complete. And so you want to be particularly cautious of that, because if you eat more plant-based, you just have to be more aware of that and make sure that you're not falling short on the types of proteins that you have in your body. And often I find sometimes if you're not well aware and you're kind of doing too much, maybe on the plant side, you could spike more of a carb side, because a lot of plant-based proteins have a higher carb ratio, like beans and stuff like that. So just being careful of that. But those are some basic protein roles and examples. Now, the next one is carbs. So carbs, I always say, like, out of the, like, we have the bricks, right? But you need the workers. So I want you to think carbs are the energy system of your body, right? So if you actually have all the bricks laying around, but no workers, good luck. You can't build the house, right? I always say. So you need the energy system, the workers to work in the body. It is your primary fuel source. You can fuel from a slightly fat standpoint, which I will talk about later, but your body's preference is carbs. So it's going to go for carbs first, okay? Now, there's different types of carbs. I see Tara, Denise, Wendy, Shenika, and Katrina all popped in. So awesome. But yeah, so there's a few different types of carbs in terms of structural. You have monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. So these are all just like how many, like, like the hydrogen atom to it. Like if you have one, then it's like a monosaccharide. If you have two like monosaccharides together, then you have disaccharides. If you have many together, then it's polysaccharides. So monosaccharides would be examples of glucose, fructose, those types of things, very simple. Disaccharides would be things like lactose, which is glucose and galactose together, maltose, which is two glucose compounds together. And polysaccharides are things that are longer chains together. So they're like cellulose, like a part of plants, starches, a lot of starch carbs. So they're a lot more complex. So there's a lot more chains to them, which is kind of why I say, like, starch carbs, it takes longer for your body to digest, because there's more chains to it to break down, right? So understanding what the different kinds of carbs there is also important based on how you want to fuel your body. If you need faster sugar, then you need more simple sugars, right? That's going to break down faster. If you don't want it to break down as fast, then you need more like polysaccharides and other types of like cellulose, right? Like in plants and things like that, that takes a lot longer for your body to digest. Okay. So, your carbs, and I'm just giving the background right now, your carbs have not only an energy source, kind of producing energy and ATP in your body, carbs also store a lot of energy. So they store energy in your body in the form of glycogen. And glycogen is stored in the liver and the muscles. And it's what helps you obviously have energy to do a lot of the workload as you go train, and it needs to get the energy from your muscles. It has structural roles. Your carbohydrates help your body with like cells and tissues and the formation of that, along with protein. It helps with cell signaling. A lot of your carbs signal to each other. So they are needed in your body to signal back and forth to each other. And you need carbs for dietary fiber. And if you are in the 21-day program, you will be learning a little bit about this, but you need enough of that fiber to maintain a really healthy gut in your system, because your digestion and your gut, which is like thousands of neurons and everything, how you process food is so important, right? So the carbs, like, I know sometimes you may not think like how important carbs are, but carbs are really important because they play so many roles in your body. And like I said, carbs are your main energy source. So before I dive into fat, because I'm just explaining the basics right now, how many of you are carb phobic? or are scared of eating too much carbs? How many of you are carb phobic? Because I know a lot of women are scared of carbs or don't want to eat too much carbs. And I think the trend is changing, but I am kind of curious if there's people here who are still slightly, just a little bit afraid of still eating carbs. So put it below if you're carb phobic, okay? Hi, Joanne, good to see you. So let's kind of move on to the next one now. So Debbie, me, not now. Yeah, you used to be, exactly. So Monica, you're a little bit afraid of carbs, right? But you just heard how many roles it plays in your body, right? And it's like you imagine if you don't give it carbs, like what it does to the disruption of your system, right? Me, as I am a type 2. Right, Cindy. And it's understanding what types of carbs to have, right? You still need a little bit, but you have to be more conscious of your insulin, which I will also talk about. Vivian, not at all. Yeah, you shouldn't be. She's an ectomorph, so she eats a lot of carbs. Yeah, and Cindy was once, now I know the difference. Yeah, you know the difference. Awesome. Okay, so fats. So the fats, I say, so if you have the bricks is protein and the carbs are the workers, then the fat is like the electricity in your building, right? It is what makes everything come together and kind of connect to each other. So like if you didn't have electricity in the building, you might not be able to call each other or like that, like maybe email or Wi-Fi connection. I should also say Wi-Fi connection, electricity, that type of thing.